You've probably noticed that as we grow older, the way people treat us can change. You might observe that friends gradually become more distant. Family members sometimes lack patience. And even strangers aren't as friendly as they used to be. It feels like you've been pushed aside, even though your heart is still full of stories to share and things that could help others. This can truly make you feel hurt and uneasy. But have you ever wondered if this change might not just be from the people around you, but also from the habits and behaviors you inadvertently display? Small changes in the way you interact with the world can create distance that you don't even realize. In this video, we'll explore 6 factors that might make others feel uncomfortable being around you after 70. But don't worry, all of these things can change if you recognize and adjust them cleverly. Let's uncover some secrets that can help you maintain good relationships and keep the love and respect of those around you, even as you grow older. And before we start, let me know where you're watching this video from. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss other interesting and useful videos. Let's begin this journey together. Number 1. Becoming overly negative about everything. One of the quickest ways to push people away, without realizing it, is constant negativity. Life is certainly not always easy. And as you reach your 70s, you've witnessed many difficulties, from health issues, financial struggles, to disappointments in family or society. These things are truly important and undeniable. However, when every conversation you have revolves around complaints or the negative challenges you're facing, others will start to feel tired and won't want to continue listening. Negativity doesn't only affect you, it also impacts those around you. If every visit to your children turns into a discussion about how terrible the world is, or every time you meet friends, it's all about criticizing modern life, the people around you will begin to associate your presence with disappointment and sadness. This doesn't mean that your feelings aren't valid, but if you constantly focus on the negative, it will make others feel stressed and drained. Over time, they may start to avoid you unknowingly. I believe that negativity, even when shared with close family members, can create an invisible wall between you and those around you. When you only see the problems, you not only burden yourself, but also make others feel pressured. They won't want to continue the conversation because no one likes feeling heavy after meeting. This is why many people get pushed out of social circles when they start focusing too much on the bad. However, I also understand that we can't always be cheerful or optimistic. It's only natural that as we age, we feel more tired and face many changes. But the issue isn't how you're allowed to feel, but how you choose to express those emotions. People don't expect you to always be happy or full of energy. But if you can balance difficulties with more positive things, your life will become much more enjoyable. So, what should you do instead of always complaining? Pay attention to what you say and how you say it. If you notice you're starting a conversation with complaints, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this the energy I want to bring into this conversation? Instead of focusing on the bad, try steering the conversation towards a more neutral or positive topic. A funny story, an interesting fact, or a sincere compliment can make the conversation much more pleasant. The important thing is that when people leave a conversation with you, they should feel uplifted, not drained. A little self-awareness will help you maintain lasting relationships and make your life, as well as those around you, much lighter and more enjoyable. Number 2. Giving unwanted advice or criticism. As you get older, you've accumulated a lot of life experience and wisdom. You've seen trends come and go, watched people make mistakes, and learned many valuable lessons from failures. Naturally, you want to share your insights with those around you, to help them avoid the same mistakes you've made. However, this can become tricky. When you offer advice that hasn't been asked for, it can make the listener feel as though you're judging them instead of just helping. Especially with family members, particularly the younger generation, you might see your children or grandchildren making mistakes you think are easy to avoid. like financial problems, parenting issues, or lifestyle choices. When you intervene to help, even with good intentions, they might feel like you're criticizing them. This doesn't only happen in the family, it can also occur with friends. You might want to tell a friend that they should eat healthier, save more money, or spend more time taking care of themselves. But they might feel like you're criticizing rather than helping. People don't like feeling lectured, even if your advice comes from a place of genuine care. When your conversations are filled with criticisms and corrections, others will get tired and start avoiding you. So, what can you do instead of giving unsolicited advice? Be patient and wait until they genuinely want to hear your opinion. If someone really wants advice, they'll ask you. A simple rule is, ask before advising. Instead of saying directly, you shouldn't do that, or, you need to change this. Ask them if they want to hear your advice. For example, instead of saying, you really shouldn't eat that, you could try saying, would you like to hear some tips I've learned about healthy eating? If they agree, you can share. If they decline, respect their decision. This can change the way people perceive you. People don't avoid your advice because they don't care, but because they don't want to feel judged. When you give advice in a way that respects their choices, you become someone trustworthy and helpful, rather than a source of frustration and discomfort. If you're still watching this video and find this information helpful, don't forget to comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I highly recommend you do so and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any videos. Your support helps us create more quality content to inspire and share more knowledge. Number 3. Refusing to adapt to change. The world is always changing, and it will never stop changing. However, one of the biggest mistakes many people make as they age is resisting that change instead of learning how to adapt. This is understandable because you've lived through decades of traditions, values, and ways of doing things that now seem to be gradually disappearing. But if you refuse to accept that times have changed, it will make conversations with you feel exhausting rather than interesting. Resistance to change can show up in many ways. You might constantly claim that things were better in the past whenever a younger person shares things they enjoy. You might see modern technology as unnecessary, even though it's how most people connect today. Or you might feel frustrated when social norms change, and you find it difficult to connect with younger generations. However, the truth is, change is happening, whether you like it or not. When every conversation with you turns into a debate about why the past was better than the present, others will feel tired and start spending less time with you. Think about technology. Learning and getting used to new devices, apps, and communication methods can be a big challenge. But if you refuse to participate in these changes, you'll make it difficult for others to communicate and connect with you. Maybe your grandchildren prefer texting instead of calling, or your friends plan things through social media instead of on the phone. If you refuse to participate in these changes, you'll gradually become more isolated, not because people don't care about you, but because they don't know how to connect with you. So, what should you do instead of resisting change? Be open. You don't have to love every new trend or accept every new habit. But the willingness to listen, learn, and adapt will make you someone people enjoy being around. Instead of saying, "This is stupid, I don't understand," try saying, "This is interesting, tell me more about it." The important thing is that people don't expect you to like every change, but they appreciate it when you remain curious and don't reject them immediately. Being open to new things not only helps keep your mind sharp, but it also strengthens your relationships. It helps you stay connected to the world around you, staying dynamic and engaged with others. Now, let's move on to a topic that can easily create resentment: expecting too much from others without giving. Number 4. Expecting too much from others without giving. One of the biggest causes of resentment in relationships, whether with family, friends, or even neighbors, is when someone constantly takes but never gives. Unfortunately, this habit can easily become more common as we grow older. You may not even realize you're doing it, but if you always expect others to meet your needs without considering what they need, this will gradually create distance between you and them. This can happen in various ways. Perhaps you expect your children or grandchildren to call you first, visit you often, or help with chores without showing appreciation. Maybe you rely on a friend for emotional support but never ask about their life. Or perhaps you assume that younger family members must always help you because it's their family duty. But the issue here is, people don't mind helping when they feel respected and appreciated. However, when they start to feel exploited or taken for granted, they will gradually pull away. When this happens, you may feel abandoned without realizing that your unrealistic expectations have created that distance. Does this mean you should never ask for help? Of course not, but relationships are always a two-way exchange. Even as you age, you can still contribute, still give. A compliment, a sincere question, or a simple thank you can make others feel valued and respected. These small gestures truly mean a lot. So, what should you do instead of just receiving? Take a moment for self-reflection. If you notice that you're often the one who receives without giving, find ways to show gratitude and contribute, even through small actions like sending a thoughtful message, remembering someone's birthday, or simply listening with genuine care. These actions can make others feel appreciated rather than feeling obligated to help. The key point is, people will enjoy being around you when they feel respected and appreciated. But when they feel like they're just fulfilling an obligation, they will gradually pull away. Therefore, putting a little effort into showing gratitude and giving, no matter how small, will help make your relationships stronger and more sincere. If you're still watching this video and find this information useful, don't forget to comment, number 4, below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I recommend subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you won't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue to create valuable content to inspire you. Now, let's move on to more important matters. Number 5. Repeatedly bringing up the past. Memories are an important part of life. They remind us of the people we love, the memorable experiences, and the valuable lessons we've learned. However, one mistake many people make as they grow older is focusing too much on the past, making it the only thing they want to share, to the point that it affects how others perceive them. This happens when conversations always return to the good old days, or when every story you tell is one that people have already heard many times. It's easy to fall into this habit. Sharing experiences that shaped you is natural, and sometimes reminiscing about the past can bring comfort and a sense of connection with those you love. But if every conversation revolves around the past, people will start to feel like they can't connect with you in the present. Imagine this for younger people. If every time they share about their lives, they hear, "Back in my day, we did everything differently," or, "You don't understand how hard things were back then," this can create a wall rather than a conversation. It makes them feel like their experiences don't matter simply because they didn't live through what you went through. It's not just younger people who feel this way. Even friends of your own age may feel disappointed when they have to hear the same stories over and over again. Over time, this can make conversations feel boring, predictable, and uninteresting. People might feel like there's nothing new, and they'll gradually participate less in those conversations. So, what should you do instead of constantly bringing up the past? Balance the past and the present. Share fond memories, but don't forget to show interest in what's going on in people's lives now. Instead of just telling a story from the past, ask others about their lives, listen to what they're going through, and create new moments with them. If you notice you're repeating a story, stop and ask yourself whether this moment is appropriate. And more importantly, be open to creating new experiences rather than just reliving old memories. The key point is, While cherished memories are important, they shouldn't replace the present. People want to feel connected to the person you are today, not just the person you were many years ago. By showing interest in the present and those around you, you'll keep your relationships lively, and your conversations will remain meaningful. Now, let's move on to another important topic: not respecting boundaries and personal space. Number 6. Not respecting boundaries and personal space. As we grow older, relationships with family, friends, and even neighbors evolve and change. But one thing that never changes is that everyone, regardless of age, needs their personal space and boundaries to be respected. A mistake many people make in their later years is thinking that their presence, needs, or opinions should always be prioritized simply because they are older. This can manifest in many different ways. Maybe you expect family members to always answer the phone immediately when you call. And if they don't, you feel abandoned. Perhaps you visit someone's house without notice, assuming they'll be happy to see you without considering whether they're busy. Or maybe you feel entitled to know details about other people's lives, who they're dating, how they're spending their money, how they're making decisions, without realizing that they have a right to privacy. People might not say it, but when they feel their boundaries are being violated, they'll begin to distance themselves. They might call less, invite you over less, or share less about their lives. If you don't notice these signs, you might mistake their withdrawal for indifference, when in reality, they're just trying to maintain their personal space. Another form of not respecting boundaries is emotional. If you frequently dump your frustrations, sadness, or loneliness onto someone without considering their feelings, they may start to avoid conversations with you. While it's important to share our emotions, it's equally important to respect the emotional space of others. So, what should you do instead of infringing on others' boundaries? Pay attention to the signs that others are giving. If someone seems hesitant or unwilling to talk, ask yourself whether you're giving them enough space to breathe. If you feel like you're pushing for attention, think about whether you're respecting their time and responsibilities. And if someone sets a boundary, whether it's about visits, conversations, or personal issues, respect it without taking it personally. The key point is that strong relationships are built on mutual respect. When people feel that their boundaries are respected, they'll feel more comfortable, more willing to connect, and will continue to keep you as an important part of their lives. Final thoughts. Getting older doesn't mean you'll lose the people around you. However, if you don't recognize certain habits, they can slowly push people away. The good news is that when you're aware of these patterns, you can change them. We've talked about issues like constant negativity, giving unsolicited advice, resisting change, expecting too much from others, getting stuck in the past, and not respecting boundaries. All of these can lead to resentment, but when you recognize them, you can change and help others feel closer to you instead of pushing them away. Good relationships are built on respect, appreciation, and balance. People want to spend time with those who make them feel good, respected, and heard, and no matter your age, you can still be that person. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 6 points stands out the most to you? Have you ever experienced someone pulling away and now realize why? Please leave a comment below this video. I read all your thoughts, and your insights may help others who are going through similar challenges. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to your feedback. So please share something you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life.